Hello everyone, I'm Silent Death, and welcome back to my Let's Play Space Engineer series. Today, we are going to work on some various designs, different layouts for large mining drills. These things. As I mentioned last time, we want to do this for our future mining ship, so that we can actually see out the front using first-person view. To make it easier to mine, basically. To be entirely honest, I'm not so certain that this is going to work that well. For a couple of reasons. One of them is that, as we saw last episode, not mining drills, but rotors aren't really that sturdy. So I do not have high hopes that they will be able to stand up to the punishment that a kind of mining drill design would need. They also simply don't have that much power. Not enough torque for the kind of forces we're going to be asking of them. What I do expect, however, is that the way they fail will teach us something. Not just to be useful in our next ship, but to be useful when more advanced blocks come out, such as the programming blocks. For instance, in the kind of preview that one of the devs posted in his blog, one of the options was to specify an amount of thrust that an engine gives off, so that you could basically go at a fixed speed, a fixed little burst. If you turn off inertial dampeners, you would have a fixed speed, and something like this could work good for that. If we have like mining drills going at high speed and they never technically touch the rock, but just their collision boxes does, and we're moving very, very slow, that would be one option. And speaking of programming, there's been quite a lot of discussion on the forums about the programming blocks that they've been talking about. Though, of course, none of this good discussion has been in the developer thread. That thread has turned into the kind of douchebaggery that happens when people who think that debate means to say no, you're wrong in ever-increasing volumes argue on the internet. But the other threads, of which there are a number, have been quite useful and some quite good discussions going on there about different ways they could implement the programming. So the things I favor is the discussions about visual programming languages in addition to text-based ones. Because visual programming languages, if you haven't used them, are basically what you do is you have like a box that does something, and you have wires that represent the input and output values, and the wires are usually like some kind of color-coded wire so that you can't mix them up with different data types. But say if you wanted to have a number, that would be one wire, and if you wanted to have a string, some characters of some type, like words and stuff, that would be a different color wire and things of that nature. And I've used things like this in the past in a program called LabVIEW. And it's pretty easy to pick up and use for most people. It is pretty easy to debug, the downside being that As you get more and more complex programmings, the bigger the program, it kind of grows off the screen. And when you have to end up scrolling around so much because it's not as compact as text-based languages, you can kind of lose your train of thought that way. And it's kind of like building with redstone in Minecraft. When you have something that's very complex, you have like a piece that's way on the other side of your entire project that you have to connect to, and you have wires that end up going up and down and through and all that stuff. It can get a little bit tangly. But it's still a good like initial step, regardless of how they do it. There's been a lot of, well, complaints, really, about people who don't like to program. And I can understand that. I can try to understand that, I should say. What one must understand is that people like the developers and me, and, well, people who generally program are good at programming. It's almost second nature to them. It's hard to imagine not being able to do that kind of stuff. Let's see if we turn this on. Though I know from personal experience that there are still classes at the university where they teach people to do things like use the start menu. So I realize there's a pretty big gap between the developer's skill and the average user's skill. And the developers have a hard time imagining that gap. Not only do they know how to program very well, obviously, but they tend to surround themselves with other people who know how to use computers at least fairly good. Fairly well? Fairly well. Yeah, that's it, I should say. And in that manner, this is going to be hard to get into. It's kind of hard for them to really understand the complaints that people are making. It's also technically hard for me to understand it, because programming is just not that difficult for me. It's tedious at times and can be frustrating, but the general concept is not that difficult. Let's turn you on, say, about... actually go really, really fast. So this is actually oscillating a lot more than I was expecting. We'll see if we can't do some stuff. Oh. Okay, there goes our engines. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, how are we going to stop this? First, let's turn off the rotor. Connector, rotor, off. Braking torque. Now then, let's get... where's the way out? Oh, that really just snapped right off, didn't it? Oh crap, don't do that. Don't do that. Come on, don't do that. Autosave. Let's just shut these off. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Now then, I guess I need to put on some more engines. So it snapped off here. We'll just get a couple going. I think one more. Actually, let's make this heavy armor. Then, quickly before they fly away. Where are you, Blue? I did add some lights to the ship. as you can see. To help out a little bit. Let's hit this one first. That should stop it from, yeah, there we go. Saved. Now then, I'm going to pause the recording and do a little bit of repair work, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's try this again. Pump that up. It's going. Doesn't seem to be going as fast as I'd like. Let's see if this works now. Without anything snapping off. Turning that up didn't really work. This is why I want to be able to see. It's working better than I was expecting, to be honest. It's not really that stable, but no mining ships really are. Now this one is a little bit less stable than normal. Now that might be because of the way it's grafted onto a previous ship that's not that great to start with. And the angle that we're looking at this might cause some problems. Let's reset our view and then try it. Just a little bit of bounce. Yeah, this is actually working significantly better than I was expecting. Bounce is an issue, but I'll be able to fix that in the final ship. That's certainly one idea. Let's try expanding this out a little bit and make sure that this works with multiple heads, multiple drill heads. We're just going to save you something so that we can have you up top. One of the things that we'll do in the final design is put a merge block somewhere along here or something, maybe, if we can, so that they can connect together and we can control the things, though I'm not sure we'll be able to do that, given the gap between regular rotors and regular blocks, or the gap here is more than one block. That's what I'm trying to say. But easy enough to extend this. We probably won't want much bigger than 3, 4, be 8. That would be a pretty big drill. We'll try it with 8 and see how it works. I am really surprised the rotor didn't break or anything. Pleasantly, though. Pleasantly surprised. Now, I believe I was talking about the programming stuff. I mentioned the visual programming versus text programming. That visual is a little bit easier, or a lot easier, for simpler programs at least. But regardless of how they actually decide to implement this, or which version they choose to use, assuming it's possible to copy programs between worlds, I will do my best to do some tutorials on whatever form of program they decide to implement. And if they do allow you to copy programs between worlds, I will try to maintain a type of programming library on the Steam Workshop. We'll be out of steel plates. Of course we are. Really? We're out of those? Yep. What else was I saying? Yeah, what I'll do is, assuming this works with what actually happens, is I will, 1, make some tutorials. 2, I will whenever I kind of use something in the Let's Play series, I'll make we're out of iron. I need to grind it a little bit. Whenever I do something in the Let's Play series, I will try to come up with a more simplified version of it and put it in the programming library. Where is the other business shipment? There it is. And in that manner, you'll have access to a number of programs with some like basic examples of what they do. So for instance, if you wanted a program that like had a flickering light or something of that nature, I would have like a flickering light, the program, and then maybe some text inside the program where you say change this number to control how frequently the light flickers, or you know, you wanted to have something that made a whole bunch of doors open, things of that nature, and then close automatically. That would be another thing you could do. But that is my current plan for the tutorial part. For the actual series itself, I know that a lot of people don't like to watch the programming, though technically I am one of the people that do like to watch that kind of stuff. So that inclines me to make episodes where I do programming. But the larger percentage of people don't like it and don't find it particularly interesting. So what I was thinking I would do is whenever I record a program or an episode where I would be nominally including the programming, I will split the episode up a little bit. Basically have, say, an episode 16A and an episode 16B. And the A part would be kind of a normal episode where we do the talking and stuff. And then the B part would be episode A plus the programming, or just the programming by itself. Where A would just have, I'm going to go program, cut, here's the program. Where then you could go to episode part B, or the B version of the episode, and actually see how the program is created, for those that want that kind of thing. And for those that don't, they can just ignore it. I think that would give me kind of the best of both worlds. So let me know how you would feel about that kind of stuff. I would like to get, I don't know, a consensus of how many people want to see the programming, how many people don't. How many people just don't care? Because there are a lot of people on the forums who are like, oh no, programming, I don't want to have to learn how to do programming. Which is, I don't know, it's just not the best way to think about things, I guess. Best way to approach life in general is to not want to learn something. It's anathema. I'm not saying I'm pronouncing that right? To me? As someone who's been taught, like, as part of my profession as an engineer, that you're going to be having to learn your entire life and keep on top of all the changes that happen just as the natural progression of technology. But I will be back after I've ground up some stuff and kept things from floating away. And probably I'll finish building those drills off camera as well. And then we'll come back and see how that works. Alright, let's try it with this many drills and see how it works. I really hate these doors. I wish they would have ones that were circular or something so they could get through them easier. It is so annoying. Okay, so we wanted to turn on this. Let's see how that helps. Oh. Being so large, it really knocks around the ship, doesn't it? A lot. Though I suppose once we got an area started, it would be better. I don't know if we can get one started though. We also need a heavier ship, really. Just keep knocking ourselves off. Heavier ship or more thrusters going forward would also work. A bit more. It's not as fast, which is one rather large downside. In fact, it's a lot slower. I don't know, I think this might be one of the better designs we could come up with though. At least for the type of ship I'm going for. There are other designs for strip miner type ships that would be easier, I suppose would be one way to say it. But definitely overall better. Of course, if you hook something like this to a piston and then hook that to a station, you would have a fairly decent miner. A strip miner type thing. Something like I built in Minecraft with frames. You could do that with this as the drilling head. And that would work probably quite well. But it would be better to do that after the programming blocks are in. This is better. What it really needs, I think, is maybe if we... Actually, let's try that. What we're going to do, back up a little bit. We'll turn off the drills. Someone's cutting grass. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's annoying. They just started. I'm sorry if you can hear it. There's not really anything I can do about it. Other than not record an episode for today. What we'll do, turn off the drills. We're going to extend this one out, one block out. Just this middle one. Actually, why don't we go ahead and go with 2 blocks out? Yeah, let's do that. And I'll be right back. Alright, now it is kind of like a whole saw drill bit in real life. Through the horrible door. on the rotor. Now then, let's see if that will kind of help us stay aligned. A bit closer. Working a little bit. Still we have the bouncy thing. But that's just due to lack of engines, I'm pretty sure. This is definitely a much better design. Though, just when I was building that, I noticed that the heavy armor on the ends is taking a lot of beating. Already enough just from the test that we had done previously to require more steel plates to build them. To repair them, I mean. So this has promise. I'm not sure it's going to be better than just a block format of mining gear for our ship, but it certainly is something we might want to try. Maybe even with a little bit longer tip in the middle for instances like this. Though that would make the ship harder to maneuver inside of an asteroid. Let's see if we can't find a flatter spot that we can get that center part dug into a little bit. Like right here, it's good. Maybe. It's hard to tell what we're actually facing. Whoa, okay, yeah. Still having a problem with that. I don't know, I just don't know. I mean, I suppose with some effort we could probably make something that worked well. I'm just not sure it's going to be worth the effort. Let's go ahead and turn off the roadie thing. Compare this to how it would work. Just straight up mining drill. Yeah, I don't think the rotary thing is going to be the best option for us. At least not for the next ship. I'm sure it has some uses. And the little point in the middle extended part might be good for certain options too. Because that does help keep us well aligned. Especially when digging in uneven terrain. But just having a straight block of mining drills is going to be probably the better option. It's going to be, of course, very hard for us to see or anything, but it's still the best option. Can I look at the inventory? I don't think I can from this screen. Nope. I was trying to see how much is mined so far. I do need some more iron. Let's go check on it. Save. I hate that door. I just hate it. Can we actually click on anything? So, they got some magnesium. 10,000 to 5,000 to 12,000. So, ooh, that one has 20,000. That must be the center one. But already quite a lot of iron. So definitely large drills are going to be an improvement. And again, we may use this at some point in the future, after we get programming blocks. And we can control our thrust a little bit better. But right now, I think we'll stick with the more traditional block mining ships and just have to sacrifice our view, our visibility. But that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode, probably go ahead and start laying the foundation for the mining ship, or at least some of it. We'll start doing something, actually building the mining ship. I'm not sure how far we're going to get in one episode, but we're going to start. But like if you like, subscribe if you're not. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. I do read all the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time!